All right, welcome back. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of problems with the sound earlier, but I think everything is working now. Let's carry on. The South African Depression and Anxiety Group, SADAG, will be conducting media workshops in Cape Town and Johannesburg early next month around mental health, diabetes and heart disease as well. At the gathering, media will receive the latest statistics and trends about the three major illnesses of our times. Well, Tracey Feinstein is a senior trainer and counsellor at SADAG, and she joins us now this morning. A very good morning to you. Thanks very much for coming through.
Thank you.
Thanks
for having us.
So you're known mostly to deal with mental health, anxiety, depression. What on earth are you dealing with diabetes and heart disease for?
Thank you for the question. Well, I think what we've decided to do is do something a little bit different in terms of our annual media summit. And sponsored together with Discovery, we've decided to come up with a more holistic package. And you very often find that the other illnesses like the heart health and diabetes have a side effect of depression, anxiety, which is all closely related to mental health. So, our work is very much about education, and not only to the public, but also to the media. So it's a perfect opportunity for us to invite the media and say, come and learn a whole lot more about these really important issues.
All right, so they're kind of related, and one often feeds next to the other, but I guess your sort of raison d'etre is to deal with mental health, and this is a tricky area because, still there's kind of this stigma attached to it, isn't it? You don't want to tell people that you have mental health issues, and people just kind of say, pull yourself together, man.
Very much. And there is a big thing about the stigma, and a lot of the stigma is about not knowing. Not only not knowing about the illness, but where to go and get help. And unfortunately, the statistics continue to rise. We're now sitting at 1 in 3 with some form of mental illness. The very common things are like the depression, anxiety, and as a result of anxiety, people have panic attacks and they don't understand what is happening to them. Our suicide rate is continuing to rise. So we really need to open our mind, find out about these illnesses, and at the same time understand where we can go and get help. And that's a lot of, if we can help the media to do responsible reporting, people will be a lot more confident to go and find out, where can I go and get help? How do I navigate the systems? Because it's actually quite daunting, So we've brought in a lot of speakers to try and help talk about the various illnesses, the different types of therapy, because just like anything in the medical world, constant learning new ideas. So we've got international speakers. We're also going to be doing case studies. So we have a couple of spokespeople coming out, media personalities, who are actually going to share their story as well. And it helps to bring it home and make it a little bit more real, so that also, breaks down the stigma, makes people feel, if it's happening to that person, look how they've overcome it. If they can overcome it, maybe I can get help and also overcome it.
I would imagine that, there's a broad spectrum of mental health challenges and difficulties. And how does one know if, it's a little bit more than just being, I'm upset today?
Well, that's it, exactly. There's this thing of it's Monday morning or tomorrow is Tuesday morning and I've got the blues and I don't feel that great and I feel a little bit tired and lethargic and I don't feel like going to work. So am I depressed? There is a certain diagnosis in place for depression, for example, and it actually has to be a real significant change in lifestyle, behavior lifestyle. So, for example, people who are battling with depression are actually not even coping to get up out of bed, to brush their teeth, to get dressed, to make breakfast, never mind the fact that they've got to get to work. So there's a big difference between the blues, I'm sad, I don't fancy this place, I don't like my job. Okay, but this is part of the stigma, in that the way you experience depression and, for example, myself might experience depression is different things, and the behavior plays out. I may cry a lot. You may just withdraw. Even as well in terms of the way males and females respond. Men often act out violently. So it's all about sharing different case studies, getting people to understand that if you feel it's not right, if it's not you, you need to get some help. And where do you go to get that help? And you know, things like if you leave depression over a long period of time untreated, it has to have an effect, for example, on your heart.
Yeah, I mean, these also sadly sound very sort of like urban middle-class issues, and it must be happening in the rural areas as well, and difficult places to reach. What do we do with these people?
Yeah, it is happening, and I think in the rural areas it's kind of hard. What SADAG does is we do a lot of rural outreach community talks. We go into the schools and do a lot of school programs to educate the youngsters. With the rural communities, we also have a project which we call our Speaking Books, which is actually presented in the different languages so that we can distribute that and people can, you know, try and get information from that. So there's a lot of groundwork that we're continually doing, you know, to try and get the message out.
Well, hopefully the media can help you, and if they want to get involved, it's the 5th of April in Cape Town, 7th of April in Johannesburg.
Correct.
And they can still register for your sessions at office@anxiety.org.za.
Yes, that's
I'm going to tweet that so that people can connect.
And there's no cost, but they do need to just register beforehand.
All right. Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck, and let's hope that we start to report this more, get rid of the stigma attached to it. But Tracey Feinstein, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Wonderful.
All right. Okay. So it's time to go to